So we are going to be talking about our group project. We are in month 3. This group is building our password website. So we are, in sample, creating our own password saver. So we're going to move on to the next phase, and that means everybody gets to contribute. I know we all talk about passwords. I have the method I've explained. Some people use LastPass, or they use something called 1Password. Some people keep a note under their drawer, in the sock drawer, in an old black address book they got from the bank in 1995. Some people have many different methods, but one thing we're going to do together is find all the needs people want to create your own password saver and trust yourself to be able to keep that information in one safe place and also share it with a trusted other when it's inaccessible to you. And then at the end of the year, we're going to unveil that website, that page, and everybody's going to get a copy. And then we're all going to go into business and sell our Lacers Retiree Tech Class Password Saver. That's the sample. So we'll all be using our minds to create the perfect password saver. Next up is, and I'm not noted there, but we're going to talk about QR codes. You know, in the restaurant, those funny little codes.
Yeah.
You have to take a picture of, or now there are so many things they do with it. You can sign in new products. You can go to Kaiser or your doctor's office and take a picture or hold your camera in front of the QR code and be able to get to the menu and the items that you need. We're also going to talk about your Wi-Fi equipment. Did you know that if you have Wi-Fi equipment supplied by your provider, whether you're local here at Spectrum or AT&T or your Frontier or Charter or Miss Moore's in a far further away place, if it's a name we don't know about, if that equipment is supplied by your provider, they will update it for you for free. They will either send you a new box and even a technician to install that. And those pieces of equipment, just like your phone or your tablet or your computer, get dated. Just like anything else, technology grows and changes. So we'll be talking about how to take advantage of what you're paying for anyway. I think often they don't like you to think about this because then they don't have to send you a new one. But a new one has new security protocols, and it's yours because you're already paying that bill. We're going to talk about old emails. I was on a radio show. I've been on this radio show called Rich on Tech on KFI, and we were talking this Saturday about the intrusive forces of continuing to use your old SBC Global, PacBell.net, ca.roadrunner.com, Hotmail, much older emails. Those emails are no longer available to get new, and often they're just working on autopilot. They're a small division of a company. And we've all heard, tech jobs, they've laid off all these people. The first person they'll lay off is the one that's managing PacBell.net, because the users diminish every year, which makes you more vulnerable. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and also how to add a recovery email. If you lose your password, if you lose information, for example, Ms. O'Connor loses all that, she can then call her friend Gloria Olivas and say, "You're my recovery." Or you can have a secondary under your own name. Ms. O'Connor can have 2 emails, and the second one could be used as a recovery. At the shop, we make a good chunk of our change recovering passwords, and that doesn't need to be. You can do that yourself with a little preparation. We're going to talk about it, Google Photos. Christmas is over, but it's coming, right? It's over, but it's coming. So there are images. Many of those images you want, many of them are just mistakes. Somehow your phone took a picture of the carpet in your car, or you took a screenshot in a moment, and we can explain screenshots, and you don't need that any longer. If you leave those items on a computer phone, it's wear and tear. It's just like walking around with an extra 3 pounds. So we're going to talk about how to get rid of those and how to manage those. A really important one is deleting unused apps on the smartphone. An app, like any other thing you have in your house, becomes antiquated. And if you downloaded that one, how to measure a shelf app, and you haven't used it in 4 years, it's time to delete that.
But some apps are pre-installed. You can't delete them.
Some apps you pre-installed, and that's a great question, Peter. An app that's pre-installed can be updated by keeping your phone updated. But if you have an iPhone per se, the apps that come with the phone will be updated as the phone is updated. But if you downloaded a third-party app, something else. I play the banjo. That's my hobby. So I have a banjo tuner app. My phone won't update that app. I'll have to do that manually or replace that. So it'll also just give you a good idea what you're walking around in your pocket with. We'll do some scam busters. There's some really powerful scams. They revealed that LAUSD scam last year was much more intrusive than anybody realized. And so we'll look at always ways. But remember, you're the biggest scam buster. By you not clicking a link and pushing a button or going with that false anxiety they create on this machine, you're beating the scammer immediately. And remember, you can't compete with them. They do it all day long. That's what they do. And so they're good at it. Some physical device maintenance. On my phone, I have a little plastic cover, but that gets old, those plastic covers. You can replace that for $10, $12, $15, $19 on Amazon or Best Buy. And it's big protection for an expensive piece of equipment, not only for a drop, but even a light spill. And also the other old ones get dirty. And so this is a great way for you to just protect that device. And I change mine, twice a year. We have a couple more people entering the room. And then we'll talk about, if we get some time, how to hear better. I mean, that's affecting me now. And you can get headphones, earbuds, you can connect them in different ways to be able to just isolate it. So when you're on your phone, maybe you don't want everybody to hear what's being said around you. So that goes in. Obviously, the output people can hear, but the input can be yours alone. And they also make generic over-the-counter hearing aids. These are not medical grade hearing aids, but they amplify the sound, and you can connect that to your phone via Bluetooth, which is like a wireless connection. It's connecting you to your phone without a physical wire connecting those. We'll do some telemedicine updates, and I got 3 doozies. I got to stump Voss this month on there. So let's begin our class, and I'm going to stop there. We left off last time, and we were talking about our password saver. We have created our website. We have decided we're going to create a PDF document that we can disseminate to everybody in the room. And now it's time to add some elements onto that. So we have added, and let's add these on. Let's share the screen and go and create our Word document. And we want to take suggestions. The first thing you'll say.
Hello, Elijah. Is it possible to just briefly recap what we've already done, just so we can get into the groove?
I appreciate it. So the first thing we did is we named this. The name of ours is Laser Techware's Password Saver. That was not clap. So that's our Password Saver name. So you're going to have your very own password saver, and it's going to have fillable parts in it. The next thing that we decided to do is create it in a portable document file, a PDF, so anybody could use it. And who's ever received a PDF and there's a field where you put your cursor in, and magic box shows up and you can type your name in or your date. It's not in every section, but it's in the sections that matter. Now, we've left off. And by the way, in January, we didn't know what we'd do. We thought maybe we could open a flower shop together, or maybe we could sell sweaters. We had different things that we wanted to do, e-commerce, but we agreed upon the password saver. And then we decided in February to create it in a PDF. That will be the format that you'll be able to have that. And then in March, now we're going to put a few fields. So on that password saver, we're going to put the name of the account, and that could be Netflix. Next up, we would be the user ID, and the user ID would be your email or your name. So that would be, let's go, name@gmail.com. Then the next would be the actual password. And that 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's include a letter and a couple of symbols in there. And there's our password. What would you add next to that list? And I have some thoughts. Subject. Great. And so Netflix is entertainment. Right? Give us a couple more here.
Security questions.
Oh,
and
that's
answers.
golden. That's golden, because that's golden.
I'm repeating myself from last time.
Well, I'm glad you are. Repetition.
That's what we covered the last time. Security question 1, 2, 3.
What is my first grade teacher, right? Things like that. And we're going to do that 3 times, because that's usually what they have. There's one big one missing that I'm going to suggest, and that is date added. I think it's important to know that when you added, and this won't be the necessary order, the date that you added this password. Is this password left over from 2014? So we're going to go 2023. So you'll want to know the date that is put on your thing. What else would you want on your password saver list?
The link.
Oh, that's a great one. That will make it easy, because these will be clickable links. So we can go www.netflix.com. That is a perfect one. And look, the link is right there. I can click that and get right to that page. And what else are we going to put on there?
Phone number, customer service.
Great.
Computer tech assistance.
I think customer service number, that kind of is excellent. This way, you can match it up. And this will also help you match it up to the number when you get that fraudulent phone call. And you can say, this isn't even related close to when I contact the Blue Cross or whatever the case. These are great suggestions. What else would you put on there?
So
Day last maintained.
Day
last update. The last updated day.
You said the last time you updated the password?
Right. Or any field that you like to pertain to it.
Recently updated. So, date, okay. And I'm going to go, what are we in, March 8th? Oh my God, it's the 8th already, 2023.
Yes.
Let's not overly complicate this, but I'm sure there's something else.
The last update date should be automatic field. Whenever you update a PDF, it should be automatically updated.
Oh, I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
When the list was last updated, I get that. So let's do this. I get that. I get what that was saying. So we're going to go. So every month you'll be able to do this fresh, and you'll do 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a great. I do that on my list, and I've suggested that. That's a great suggestion. Let's not overly complicate this, but I think we're doing. These are some pretty good ones.
And then the last one was save as.
Well, we'll get to that in a moment on how we're going. That's for next month. How we're going to actually create this document and get it to everyone. So then you could save it as you can call it your password list, confidential information, so on and so forth. You know what I'd like to add here? Shared with. So that means Stephanie Smith can say, I shared my password list, or this particular password even, with I just got your password for Netflix, Stephanie. You could say, let's say you shared this particular password with a friend, somebody that you know. So you know who,
with family.
But you could say
I
family.
shared it with my husband.
Spouse.
Right.
A list. Do you want to save it with a lot of people or just one particular?
That would be up to you. You know, Stephanie is sharing, she could share Netflix with her husband and her cousin Marcy, you know what I mean? Or, you know, whoever, you know, she's sharing that with. And of course, I'm using Netflix as a generic term, but this could be more sensitive than that. You know, your bank account or your retirement or something, you know, sensitive to you. So where you'd want to share that with obviously someone that could either remind you with that, about that, and or use it for you if you're indisposed at that moment. hopefully, on a trip, in Hawaii, and you forgot to update the LADWP bill. So that is a good one to be shared with in Stephanie's case, your husband, or whoever is important to you. And I think probably the last one would be expiration. Everything or renewal date. So just about everything we do has a renewal date, right? I mean, Netflix, you're charged every month or once a year. Most everything has a renewal date monthly. So that account would be monthly or yearly or in perpetuity. I like that. Who likes that list? Comfortable with that list?
Now, last month we put the date under the password. So does it matter what order it's in?
No, it does matter. And we'll get to that again. We'll get to that. When we make next month, what we're going to do is, and this is going to be where we're really going to have, I think, this will turn into a great learning opportunity. We're going to learn how to take this and create our own document, whether you're using Google Docs, Microsoft Word, Apple Pages, text edit, or notes. You're going to have many ways, or you just want to write it by hand. We're going to find a way to go digitally create this together, which means that you can make an inventory list for anything in your world, in your life. So let's save this. Great work, everybody. I promise I'm not going to take your work and then skip class and just profit from this. We are all going to share in this, okay?
Elijah.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, my brain is not working too well today. So I just want to clarify what we're doing. So that thing that you just went through with the account name Netflix, that was just the password saving for, that was one record for one item, Netflix, right?
Exactly. These will repeat, Jeanette, for every. There's going
to be many records for many items that we want to keep track of the passwords.
LADWP, Blue Cross.
Okay, I just needed to get my mind straight.
Amazon. This is going to go. Oh, this is your list. This is going to go over and over again. And we can, sometimes we keep it simple, stupid, KISS, right? But we don't want to overdo it, but we don't want to underdo it either. And then, of course, maybe we should put this in here. Notes. Everybody can be able to write a note or two. Just a personal note about that account. So let's save that. And we're on our way, everybody. We are successfully in month 3 of creating our Lacers business here. And that is our own personal password saver that everybody will be able to use themselves and consistently. So
now, where are we saving this to, Elijah? Can you go over that again? Like where we're saving it to? Because I thought about you recently because I was stranded and I didn't carry my notepads that have all my passwords on. And I says, Elijah was right. We need to save this to our cell phone.
So we'll get into that next time. That is beautiful, but I'll give you an idea of what I do. So in between your phone and your computer, your phone and your tablet and your computer, there are many options. One is called Dropbox. One is called Google Drive. One is called iCloud. One is called OneDrive. You can save it to a cloud source, which we'll talk about, which means you can have an app on your phone, or on your phone, you can open Google Chrome or Safari or whatever browser you're using, and you can connect to that website and then have access to that list.
Can you tell us another time what the advantages and disadvantages of all those things that you just said? I'd like to know about OneDrive. I think is it called OneDrive?
Yeah. So
okay, later.
I will, Jeanette, without a doubt. And that's a cloud. We'll talk about the cloud. Essentially, there are many products and brands that do the same thing. It's a storage file locker that has your name on it and your password on there that's assigned to you. And each one of those, whether they call it Google Drive or Dropbox or OneDrive, are the same things. They are just brands for something you can sign into, and you can save pictures and documents, Excel sheets, or whatever you need to save. It's that place in the sky. that if your phone disappears in the lake this summer, hopefully you're swimming in the lake. We have plenty of water, so the lake's and it's not that hard to lose that on on the snowy Mount Baldy now. It's a third-party place where we can save those things, and that's what I do. After that list is created that we're doing, if I need that on the spot somewhere, I can use my phone to connect to that site and gain access to that list. Even more, Jeanette and team, somebody else, if given permission, can access that. So I can say, Uma, I'm in Hawaii. Can you go on my password list and look for my Netflix password? I want to use it in the hotel room. She said, oh, I got it right here, Elijah. Hold on. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Ms. O'Connor, you had your hand up?
No, Sally.
Sally, please, Sally, go ahead.
Okay, so I have an Apple iPhone and I have an iCloud list, and in it are my contacts, but I can't tell on my Apple phone with the iCloud whether or not the settings, all my passwords are under passwords in settings. Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
I feel, yes. So
okay, all right, but I don't know how to make sure that's in the cloud, because it just tells me how many things are in the cloud, which I think are all the contacts, but I can't tell. It doesn't make a list. How do I?
So on an iPhone or even on an Android, you have a tablet. You have an application called Contacts. I think it's brown in the Apple world.
Brown?
It does. There should be a little button that says Contacts.
Well, hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Each
see.
phone will have that device. We're talking, and that will all be saved in the cloud. So if you have an iPhone, all that, everything in your phone is automatically saved in the iCloud. There's not enough storage physically inside of a phone to store as much information as you have. However,
at the bottom of it says lists at the top, and then it says iCloud, and it says how many I have in the cloud, but doesn't say what they are. I don't know what that is. And at the bottom, it has a star for favorites and recents, contacts, keypad, and voicemail. I have no idea.
Okay, so that is a different subject in a sense. Those are things that come with your phone and you can utilize individually. You can make a list in an iPhone. It could be a grocery list. It could be a list of healthcare providers.
Where do you want to send a message?
Let me just mute the people. Just give me one moment. If I muted you, it's just because I'm not sure who. What we're talking about in this case, Sally, is creating a document, as we just saw, and saving that in a document folder, in your case, in the iCloud. So it'd be a separate, it wouldn't be a list, it would be a singular document you've created sitting in your file folder in the iCloud. On all phones and devices, you get preset applications that have different conveniences in there. And you can study those. Apple uses Contacts. An Android user would use Contacts in Google. That's who's providing the cloud. So those are all different functionalities that come with the phone. Everybody's phone. It doesn't matter what kind of phone. You could have a consumer cellular phone, an affordable phone, or you can have the fanciest iPhone 14. They all have these preset items that you can use. What we're talking about is creating our very own list, which you could then save, in your case, to the iCloud and share with other people, and or access, Sally, from my phone or Pornweepa's phone. Wherever you can go, you can find that one document called Password Saver. So in the phone, there are many, many different features. Just for FYI, iPhones use the iCloud to save their items, and Android phones uses Google to save their items. Each has many, many different things that you can do in them. This is a way to simplify that. Remember, everybody's trying to sell you something on a phone. It's really a great shop. Who remembers the Air Mall catalog in the airplane? You pick up that magazine, that wonderful magazine that had, sharper image or, all those funny things. Well, your phone is no different. It's pitching you different products all day long. Some can be learned and used, and others are just fluff, I find. Does that help, Sally? Okay. Yeah. So your iPhone and Apple's really good at it. So that's the concept. But we are talking about saving your item inside of your phone, in this case, your password list. You can make a document for anything or a PDF for anything. And then you'll be able to find that. And that just means it's somewhere not on your body, right? It's floating in Sally King's personal iCloud account and can be accessed from anywhere at any time for any emergency or just any hopefully good situation. Let's let Patricia in there. Folks, we're going to move on to the QR code. Who knows what a QR code is? Who's even heard of a QR code? Let me share my screen. You know what these things look like? These funny things?
Yes.
That's a QR code.
It was
And
invented by the
I stepped away
Japanese.
for a second.
excuse me?
I'm sorry, I stepped away for a second and you went into the question I really wanted to hear about.
Oh, that second was good. That was a good second because we just started.
Okay, thanks.
Are talking about a QR code. It really comes from the concept of a barcode, a UPC code. And this is really a traffic cop. What a QR code does is it directs your phone. It's an easy way for your phone to be directed to a website or something that has information. For example, you can create a QR code for your password saver. We can make in our list, and when we're moving forward, we can purchase a QR code. That QR code then points to your password saver. It could be, going to Emily's or Voss's or Peggy's or Rothna's or Noreen's. You can personally do that. I, for example, I'll show you right now. Let me go over here. Let me minimize this. A QR code for my website. And let me grab that right now. Here it is. Let's hope it's on the website. And let me open that up over here. So I can open up a website. Let me open this, share screen. And there is a QR code. So I can make a sticker. And instead of now on a business card, writing www. In my case, momscomputer.com, and you're busy trying to stick that in there and you got the wrong letter, the wrong number, you can open your phone camera and you can hold, and you don't do this right now, let's talk about this, and you can hold your phone camera over that funny looking code. It will open up a small window that will be the link to the restaurant menu, the sign in for the hospital, or Kaiser, I know, uses these. So the QR code for coupons, it's really a website, but to a portal of information, a website or a page or a document. And that QR code is simply used as a shortcut. So the reason restaurants used it in the pandemic, obviously, they could, everybody doesn't have to touch and hold the same, piece of paper. Or in the Cheesecake Factory has like 40 pages of plastic, the plastic page. They have such a big menu, or norms. I happen to like norms. It also means for the owner or the person developing the menu, they can go on their computer and change the items or the prices. They don't have to go and print out a whole new menu or a whole new coupon. So when you see that QR code somewhere, you would open the camera on your phone, and then you would point your camera at that QR code, and that QR code would then open up a small little window on the bottom of your phone that you could tap with your finger, which will then open the website, the document, or the information. Any questions about that?
So you said it's tied to, it sends you to a website. So this is how people get money, because I know some agencies, or I guess I could say, and my organization last night was talking about using QR codes to get payments for some of our book sales. So who would get the, would there be a fee involved?
That is a great question. That's a great question. So I get my hair cut, and I need one actually. And at the barber now, there's a booth, he does a bunch of booths, and each one is their, they charge each customer directly. What they will do is they will have a Venmo account or a Zelle account, or a Cash App is another one people use, or PayPal. They'll have their own account, Jeanette, or your organization can have a PayPal account, and you can set up a section in that account. You can pay for the books. Let's say you're selling a book at the book club, that day. That QR code will then direct you to Jeanette's Book Club's PayPal account, and it'll open up a window where you can choose the amount of books, and the cost will be preset. And then you would have to perhaps sign into your PayPal account or enter a credit card, and then you'll pay directly to the quote unquote club. So when you're talking about payments, the QR code doesn't collect any payments. It directs you to the cash register that organization wants to use. So at my barber, each barber has a Venmo account or something like that. They have a little sticker on the window on their mirror, per se. When I'm done, I point my camera at that symbol. Their window pops up. They say, you owe me, you did the cut, blow, and dry. So it's going to be $35, $50, whatever the case. As you could tell, mine's are on the low end. And so then I will then go and pay directly. It's not automatic. It doesn't automatically know your credit card, Jeanette, or anyone's. It doesn't go to your bank account. It gives you the payment option for that vendor, and then you will choose how you want to pay them, whether it's with a card, directly from your bank account, so on and so forth. It's a great question because it's super widely used out there. It's super widely used.
How secure?
Oh, it's the QR code is secure because it leads you just to that website. So whoever set it up, it's secure. It is your due diligence to look at it and say, yes, this payment's going to Sally King for services rendered for $10. You're not going to just go in there and trust it and click it blindly. The concept is that it's going to the barber, the dentist, the store, the club, any establishment that's charging you for something. It's your job in that establishment to then go decide what you're going to pay. And just like any other digital payment, you can go.
So do you have to click the button, click the camera, or just hold it?
You open the camera just the normal way you would open the camera on your phone. You click the camera button, and then you see the window and you're aiming at whatever you want to aim at.
Yeah.
You're going to aim that at that QR code.
So you don't have to push the
Once that QR code zeroes in once the camera zeroes in on the QR code, then you will see a small window open up on the bottom of your phone, and that will be the link to go to the place that QR code is directing you. The menu, the payment. So it truly is just a traffic cop. It guides you in that direction.
Okay.
Now, sometimes you'll just go and you'll see a QR code stuck on a light pole, and it'll say, I don't know what was free this or that. Obviously, you're just not going to go to that website, free this or that, and engage it. You're going to want to make sure it's reputable. The same way you're going to want to eat at a restaurant, that maybe has a good rating, or you're going to go buy from a book club from people you trust. You still have the due diligence of paying someone, checking your bank account to make sure $12.99 was deducted and not $129.99. It doesn't relieve that. It's a shortcut and a direct venue. And it's very helpful because you don't have to guess anymore. I mean, how many times have you just typed in the wrong website? How many times have you, just sat there trying to click and you just can't get it? 14 times you have to press the upper button, uppercase A, again, lowercase a, 1, uppercase, then you have to click another button to get to the hashtag or the exclamation mark. It relieves you of having to use those kind of items. Does that help, Jeanette?
Yes, that does. And then after we do that, do you recommend erasing the history? Because by the time you finish, when you go to restaurants now, they don't have a paper printed menu. You have to go to the QR code and things like that. Would you recommend erasing it, or can it just stay there?
It's not urgent because you're just looking at the menu, and then when you close your browser, that menu is gone. You're not downloading that and saving that. However, I always recommend erasing things and clearing things. There's no need to walk around, with the history of your day. That's not important. You don't need to have that on your phone.
How does
Elijah that
I'll get to you, Sally. What was that, Ms. Moore?
I find with that QR code, a lot of the markets and stuff are using it. And even though you have like one of those cards for the market, for their sales and stuff, the QR code is even less, what you have to pay for than your regular market card. So sometimes it saves more money for different things.
They're training.
I remember what bugs me about it. It's when you go to those special saver things, then they started asking you 1,001 questions.
Whether you use the QR code to go to a website or not, they're going to ask you 1,001 questions. That's the goal of marketing. And coupons are certainly marketing tools.
Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that, because I haven't used it, but the markets try to get you to use it.
The goal is there. And Brenda Combs, yes, I would use the camera instead of the scanner. I mean, the scanner could work, but it's basically intended for your camera to hone in on.
But do you have on your cell phone, Elijah, where you can scan?
What was that, Ms. Moore?
Do you have on your cell phone where you
every smartphone should have a camera app. It should come with the phone. That's a pretty basic one for the phone. Sally?
Yeah, somebody brought up erasing the history. On my iPad, when I click on Safari, up comes the homepage, so to speak, but there's all this list of everything I've clicked on forever and ever I'm in, and I don't know how to erase the history.
Erasing your history is important, and on an iPhone, just FYI, you're going to go into the settings, Safari, and when you see the Safari button, you'll click that, and there'll be a clear history choice.
This folder. This.
Rhonda's talking.
I know, I got that right there. So yeah, you're going to go into the settings, Safari, and then clear history. Brenda, I see your hand up.
Yes, Elijah. You were explaining the difference in using the camera versus the scanning, and someone interrupted. I wanted to hear the reasoning because a lot of times I'm using for the QR code.
I use the camera. The scanner is more intended to copy and save something to your photo file, to the photo app or somewhere on your phone. With the camera, you're just taking a picture of that. You're not taking a picture on it, so you're using that QR code to direct you to a website. So I would not use the scanner. The scanner is more used if, let's say, you're taking a picture of a check or some document with your phone. It can scan that. Not the surrounding items. They're usually 4 little bars where you can capture that, Brenda, and then that will save that in a folder on your phone somewhere in the photo application.
Okay, the reason I ask, because a lot of times when you're buying equipment now, that's what you have to do is scan that code to go ahead and continue with updating or whatever you do.
I think they use that word scan pretty liberally. Conceptually, there you're going to scan that code with your camera. Does that make sense, Brenda?
Yes, it makes sense. I just wanted to know the difference because
no, it's a good difference. It is, and it.
So I just wanted to know the difference.
It's a great question, and that is really the crossroads of tech, and where people do get confused. There are these words thrown out there. To me, scanner means you're putting a document on your printer bed and you're scanning it and then saving it on your computer. You're scanning something, but the truth is you are scanning that QR code with your camera. But the goal is not to save a picture of that QR code. It's to use that as a way to direct you to the item that you're looking for. It could be at the menu or the payment option or the website. So, it's true. Like it's a really good fine point, Brenda. Like you're not going to hold the camera and then take a picture of that with your phone and click the button. You're simply going to capture with the camera that QR code and let it automatically create that link. So it's a really good point, a fine point that I appreciate you bringing up. Dorla?
Yes, hi, Elijah. FYI, if you have an older type phone, the camera doesn't support the QR code. So I have to download the QR scanner.
That's very true. If you have an older smartphone that does not have a camera that supports that, you can go to your Play Store. Thank you for that, by the way.
You're
Play
welcome.
Store being the app store of a Google phone, or the Play Store, or the App Store is called the App Store on an iPhone, the Play Store on an Android.
Yes.
And you can download a QR scanner. That's very true. Was that you, Dorla, that gave that suggestion?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's a pretty good suggestion. Thank you. Ms. O'Connor, I see everybody, so I'm going to get you.
Yeah, my question is, I think when you scan and you have, with your camera QR code, they don't last very long in your phone camera, do they? Don't they automatically expire after a time?
Yes, the camera's just capturing that and then directing you to the website. And so it doesn't save that QR code as a picture. It's automatically sends you. Now, sometimes in that rare bird, you will go to a restaurant where you'll download the menu and then you will have to delete that. But I think that was more at the beginning of the pandemic, although it can still happen. But now you get to a live website where you can scroll, through the menu items and then close that.
Okay.
Clearing your history, we've talked about it in this class many times, and we will continue to drill that. Rathna Jones? I'll get to you, Sally. Rhonda?
Oh, I was going to ask you, is it safe to use that QR code? Because I thought one time you said it wasn't safe.
No, I think actually it's really safe. It's safer than trying to click a website with your fingers on the phone, actually, because you can make a mistake. This is a direct shot, but it's, of course, Rhonda, only as safe as the company providing it, right?
Okay.
So if you don't know the person, if you don't trust the place you're at, and it's not established and you're not going to get a receipt, then you do have every right to be wary of that, and careful. So, of course, if you're at Best Buy and you want to click that so you can read more details about the item you're purchasing, and they have the QR code, then that would be trustworthy. If somebody knocks on your door to sell you the Encyclopedia Britannica or Kirby's vacuum, you might not want to click that and trust them with that. Right? So yes, caveat emptor in every purchase or anything you do in any direction.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Rathna?
How do you erase the history in an Android?
Oh,
so I'm going to show you that in a moment. That's a great question. Before you do that, Sally, you had a question?
Yes, I'm so frustrated. I've gone to Safari. It says from iPhone 5, and it lists a whole lot of history. I mean, a lot. Yeah. And at the bottom, it says edit. But if I click on history, nothing comes up. But if I click on edit, what comes up is customized start page. And
no, you're in the wrong section. So what you'll do, and this is specific to iPhones, is you're gonna go to the settings, and then the Safari line, and then there'll be a button that says clear history and website data.
Wait a minute. Now tell me that again.
So in your iPhone,
yes,
you're going to go to settings.
All right.
And then in settings, you'll scroll down that list and look for the word Safari. And then you'll have to find the app for Safari. And when you find that,
all right,
you'll tap that and there'll be a clear history button.
No, there's not.
So look, let me show you something.
Oh, there is. At the very bottom. Wait. It says clear history and website data.
And there you go.
Yeah. Click on that.
Well, you might not want to do it in the middle of class because you might have something saved you want, but that's how you would clear the history and the website data.
But Elijah,
okay.
One at a time. Be right with you, Uma. Go on, Sally.
Okay, but then it says close tabs. What does that mean?
That means right now, let's say you went to the New York Times, and then you went to the LA Times, and then you went to so-and-so website. You have those tabs open in the background. So I like to close those. I don't like to leave those open in the background. So that to me would be part of clearing your history and your data, to close the tabs. So a tab is a web page that you're presently on.
Well, I keep the New York Times open because every morning I do all of the puzzles and stuff.
So you can go back there again. You don't have to close the tabs if you don't want. If you like them, you can leave them open, but that's the option is there for you.
I think I'll try closing it and see how bad it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's a better idea that you close it and then you go back to the New York Times in the morning. It's just, why have all those tabs open if you're not using them?
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat how to do that?
Yes, we got an iPhone person. Is that Charlene talking?
Yeah, you know what? I've been listening to you so much. I bought an iPhone. Oh my gosh.
Charlene has joined the cult. Oh, hell, Charlene. Oh, hell, Charlene. You know, Israel, what can we do? Us Android, you just got to stick together, all right? I'm
with you.
Anyway, you're with me. So anyway, Charlene, what you're going to do, and it's important, I'm glad you brought it up, Sally, is you're going to go to the settings tab application on your iPhone. And you're going to click on settings, and then you'll see a whole list of stuff. The word you're looking for is Safari. And then you'll tap on Safari. In that list, you'll see a line that says clear history and website data. And that is where you could clear the history for your Safari. That's good stuff.
You said it'll say clear?
Clear history and website data. But first you have to find the line that says Safari.
I got Safari.
Click on that.
I did.
Now look through that list for clear history and website data.
How about the Android?
I'm going to do that right now. Let me show you the Android.
I don't see where it says clear. Maybe because this is a 11. I don't know, did 11 have
It's in there. If you search, Charlene, you'll find it. It's in there.
Charlene, it's at the very bottom.
At the bottom?
Yeah, go all the way down when you think you already have gone as far as you can go. Keep going. And it's at the bottom.
But the last thing I have is advanced, automatically save offline. I clicked.
She has to keep looking. It's not at the bottom.
Yeah, it's in there. Every phone's a little different. Every phone's a little different.
But I can read real good. I can read real good.
Well, I believe you. I believe you.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Clear history and website data. It's in blue. Everything else is black
Charlene,
letter.
I use the CVS readers too. They're not so great. Everybody, look at my phone. We're going to do the Android now because enough with you stuck up iCloud Apple people. Enough with the fancy Apple people. Let's get down.
This is my money from my income tax. This is my income tax.
Yes, please do the Android.
Okay, folks, you're looking at my computer, my Android in front of you right now. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll have an iPhone soon. I'll be able to do this live like this. Chrome is where I do my website browsing. Okay. In Chrome,
what did you do?
These three dots on the upper.
I don't hear you.
Do you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Okay. On the upper right, there's three dots. You'll see a number 1. I'm going to click on those 3 dots.
So they put the smokestacks now because of their.
Hold on. I think there's somebody chatting away. Give me one moment.
Yeah, can you repeat, please, from the beginning?
I just muted.
Yeah, thank you. So let's go back here. On my there's my Android. Let me get back to the app that I use to surf the internet is Chrome. You see the Chrome app? It's on the far left over here, next to voicemail. 3rd row up from the very bottom.
Yeah.
I'm going to open my Chrome app. It's different than an iPhone. I'm in Chrome now. I could be in a website if I want. Let's go to, I was looking at something. I found this interesting thing. Who knows the Billy Joel song, Piano Man? Sing us a song for the Piano Man. I don't know where this little thing came in. Actually, it was a bar on Wilshire Boulevard called the Executive Room, like mid-Wilshire. And there it was. And that's where he actually did sing at a little piano bar, in the late 1960s, early 70s on Wilshire. So I went to a page to study that. I just was curious about that. Did Billy Joel, was it just a song, or did he really, sing a song and then people put bread in his jar and say, man, what are you doing here? And it really was a place. So that's a place I went, but I don't need to save that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click these 3 dots on the upper right. Does everybody see at the top, it says 39%? That's my battery. And there's 3 dots. I'm going to click on those. Tell me what it is. Do I get a yay or a nay here? The 3 dots.
Yes. I don't,
Wonderful.
wait a minute. Where did you say 39%? I don't see 39%.
No, that's only for his phone's
Only to give
battery.
you a direction. Look at the very top of your screen, and you'll see a number 1 in a box, and to the right of that.
Oh, yeah.
Dots.
Yes.
I'm going to tap on those 3 dots. That's going to open up a menu. That's called a contextual menu, by the way, if you in computer terms. It opens up the contextual menu. It's in context to the rest of the page. There's a button there that says history, a line. Can you see the word history?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to tap that word history. Now you can see a bunch of the places I've gone today. I've been busy. Oh God, politics. I don't want to show politics. Look, I've got too much politics on here. Oh my God. I'm not very political, by the way. But I get on tangents like everyone else. On the very top, I see clear browsing data. Do you see that in blue?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to touch that as well. Now I have choices. I have 63 items in my browsing history. From those 63 items, 310 pieces of information have been deposited on my phone. Every website you go to puts a lot of things on your phone. I have images that have come from those websites. I also save passwords, which I don't want to get rid of. I also have site settings. Those are things I'm signed into. Sally, that would be like in Android land, my New York Times crossword puzzle. So in this case, I don't want to erase those, but I want to clear the history. I didn't mean to do that. So at that point, at the very bottom, I want to click clear data. And there are some other things I'm going to clear. And it's clearing my browsing data now, which means I'll have to go start from scratch to search where Billy Joel played Piano Man originally. Then I can close that and close my browser, and I'm back to 0. And that's doing the same thing that the iPhone did when I went to that section.
Well, I just want you to know it didn't work. I'm back on my iPad and I'm at Safari. I went through settings and all of that. And then it says from iPhone 5, and it still lists about.
You're on a different device, Sally? You're on the iPad now.
Yes.
So you have to do it for each device individually.
Oh.
Yes, right. Each device is individual. We'll save those individually. So you have to do it from your phone.
So I go to settings on my iPad, and then I go to Safari.
And you do the same thing.
All right. I did that.
Okay.
All right.
For most Apple devices, they won't sync like that. You would physically have to, well, not physically, manually have to go through each device and to delete all the different items that you have.
Each device is independent. They just want you to.
This is stressful.
Yeah, it's barriers that come with it, but that's why.
Get used to it.
You are. I'm going to get to Boston Rothman. Sally.
Yes, sir.
These computers, these devices, phone's a computer, a tablet's a computer. These computers are meant to. We think you're getting convenience. You're getting 10%. They're getting 90%. That's what they do, these things. That's what they are. Okay. I want to give you another note here before I go there.
10% of what?
you're getting 10%. So you're getting to play the New York Times puzzle, or you're getting the menu. But they're learning what kind of restaurant you like, how your mind works in a crossword puzzle.
Oh.
The idea is to market you. So the more they learn from you, they want to know that Sally uses the tablet or iPad between 8 and 10 o'clock at night when she's at home on the couch. But she uses her phone when she's in the shopping mall or the car or the store. And they study you that way so they can market you items. Vas, do you have a question? Mr. Vas Singh?
Yes, I have a question. I have Apple phone and I went to the Safari and the clear history. When I cleared it, it asking me close tabs, keep tabs. What is that?
So look, we reviewed that. What that means, Vas, is every tab is an open tab. Let's say you went to the LA Times and you read that, and then you went to ESPN and then you looked at the score, and then you went to a tab for Lacer's events. Those remain open like windows on a computer when you go to a laptop and you open a browser and you go to different tabs. So that's closing everything that's presently open in that browser. And it's a good thing to close.
Okay. That's my question.
Right. One thing is you have history from the thing you looked at. And then the other thing, and think about it in your house. You go to the bedroom and you open a window, and then you go to the bathroom and you open a window, and then you go, to the porch and you open a window. Before you have finished your walk through the house, you got 7 windows open in your house.
Right.
Those are tabs.
Okay.
Okay. Cleaning out what came in the window, you can close the window, but if a bird flew in or a leaf blew into that window, that's separate. That's the history. Okay. You have to clean that, and then you close the window.
Okay.
Let that in. Oh, we have a phone call in the background.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So that we digressed on there, but that was a pretty good digression. Let's see if we can just mute that for a moment so we don't hear somebody give away what they're going to order for dinner. And Israel's right. It's not really stressful, but they're marketing tools, these devices. They're meant to ask you questions. Rathna, are you there?
Yes.
You had a question?
Oh, sorry. No, you already answered it. I'm going to lower my hand.
That's fine. And Ellen W. And we have Ellen and then Wanda. Ellen,
yes.
First.
Yeah. Hi, Elijah. Yes. My question is that when you click, I'm talking about the Android phone. Okay. Then how to erase or clear the history data? When you click on it, you show 63 items. And do you click on, because on my cell phone, I have under the clear browsing data, I have basic and advanced. So when I have advanced, I show how many items on my browsing history. But on the basic, it's different. So on the advanced, it shows that, and it also shows that it's already have a check mark. So if I don't, I uncheck it, that means I don't want to clear it.
Exactly.
If I check it, that means I want to clear it.
Exactly, Ellen. So I don't want to clear my passwords. I use those passwords. I trust it and I save them there. So I uncheck that in advance.
Right. And I did that. And then the second one is cookies and site data. Cookies and site data. So that one is from like many different sites. Should I normally just clear that, or do I leave it there?
Yeah.
But I would remove that. Let's explain, and Israel knows this too, what a cookie is in the computer world.
Right.
So,
and the third one will be cache images and files. Should I also
very much
clear?
Like a cookie? Yes, I erase all those because they come back the minute you go to that website again.
Right. Okay, but it might take a little longer to do that, right?
It's exactly right. So how that works is, let's face it, McDonald's figured out the magic recipe. People want things fast in America. We want things fast. It's not just America, but we want things fast. So the consumer will shop at a place that comes first. If you're driving down the road and you're hungry and you see Wendy's before McDonald's, if that's your thing, you might just pull into Wendy's and take care of that appetite, right? So if you go on your phone and Bank of America pops up faster than Wells Fargo, maybe you want to bank with them for more faster. Or if LA Times pops up faster than New York Times, or, I'm using those two news sources. So what the company did is create a way to leave a little image on your phone or your computer. So the next time you go to Bank of America, it shows up faster, milliseconds, but enough for your brain to be able to use that and say it's easier.
Right. So that's
So
for
that's
the
where
cache.
that's the cost of business, right? And so that's why they place those. So I remove all of those items.
Okay, the cookies and site data, all that.
And it's no different than washing your car and then taking a drive, and by the time you're home, it's dirty again, right? Like you're out there, you just get
Hopefully
covered
not that fast. Hopefully not that fast. But thank you, Elijah.
You're welcome.
Okay, so and then on the one more thing, if I click on the basic rather than advanced under clear browsing data, on that page, I would have it as that shows by date which websites that I'm actually browsing.
Exactly. You can make those choices.
Okay, so I can choose which one I want to delete.
You can choose which one. And you notice that there's a lot more choices in Google Clear History than the Safari Clear History. There was one button, right? Close tabs and Clear History in browser, because Google is a data mining company and Apple is a computer builder.
Right.
They spend more, there's no really Google products, so Google spends more time learning about you, and Apple really just wants to sell you a physical device.
Yeah, okay. So what's the difference between under basic and advanced to
Just
clear the
choices.
cookies and the cache images and files? Are they the same?
They're the same. They're the same. They're exactly the same.
They are the same. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Google users are a little more advanced when it comes to searching and working and participating in research and things of that nature.
Google has a lot more user-friendly tools than Apple would.
Yeah, when it comes to things like Safari. Rhonda Edwards. Nope. Rathna, Charlene.
Yeah, I had, talking about clearing history, when I change a password, like I just changed the Police Credit Union password, and then the next time it had saved, Google had saved, and it was the prior password that was saved. How can I update that?
I am going to write that. That's a big subject, and we're going to move on here in a moment. But Ratha, I'm putting that down, how to update your Google passwords. It's pretty important. Google has its own password saver. They're competing with us, by the way, for the Lacers Retirees Tech Class password saver, but we're going to beat them in the marketplace by the end of the year. But those are good questions, Ratha, and I certainly have that marked down. But it's a snake hole. We'll be here till midnight before we get to the end of that one.
Okay.
I'm going to go to Wanda Collins.
Yes, I have an Android, Samsung 10, it's an old phone. But I went to the settings and I didn't see where it said clear history.
So you won't on your phone, on your Android, you won't go to the settings to clear history. You'll open the Google Chrome app.
Oh, okay.
And in the top right, there are three buttons, three little dots. You'll click that and you'll see the word history.
Okay.
You'll tap that word history and that will get you to an area where you can clear the history and the data.
Okay.
So yeah, you're on my side of the fence with this one. Folks, I want to change the subject because it's something important. Spring is in the air. Hopefully you'll continue to come to class through all the days of the year. We have a whole year of this and more topics, but I want to talk about something pretty important that we all do. Who has Wi-Fi in their house?
Yeah, we all do.
I mean, most people have Wi-Fi in their location. Pornweepa, you must have Wi-Fi in your place. Of course, and everybody else. I see Gloria Coleman's picture. Hi, Gloria. I like saying these names. It makes me feel good. Susan Sukhara. I don't know if I've met you before. Nice to meet you. Maybe I have. Emily Lowe, Peggy Buck's here. The gang's here. Bernadette Arzu. So I want to talk about the equipment in your house. Who here uses Spectrum? Say it loud, say it proud.
I do.
Who uses
I do.
Spectrum's a big one. Who uses AT&T?
I do.
Who uses Frontier? Who uses Charter? Miss Moore, what company do you use in your
Charter is the same as Spectrum, right, Elijah?
Charter is Spectrum.
Charter is Spectrum. Miss Moore, what do you use?
Yes.
I use Spectrum.
Service is under CenturyLink.
Okay, Miss Moore's in the Midwest, so I always like to hear the different names. So
Xfinity.
Oh, Miss O'Connor, what do you do? Where are you getting it from? You're muted, Miss O'Connor. Unmute yourself, and then Sally, I want to hear from you as well. Let me unmute Miss O'Connor.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
I'm in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We have Cox.
Cox, that's the one. Cox is a well-known one. I like to get those names in my head. Sally, who's your provider?
Xfinity.
Xfinity is another provider. That's the South. Where are you? Where are you?
Atlanta.
Yes. Xfinity is Florida and Georgia. I happen to know that. And Miss King, what do you got?
All right, I'm in Tacoma, Washington, and
Okay.
I have Xfinity, and I carried my equipment down Monday, and they gave me all new equipment. They said I had equipment from 2017. Now I have the latest.
So this is a great subject. And how much did that cost you?
$0.
Okay, thank you, Ms. King. That's our favorite cost analysis here in class, $0. We'd like to get it where they give us money, right? But we're not there yet. So $0 is a good compromise. It's right in the middle. We love $0, Uma. We love to write a check for $0. You can swipe I'll scan 1 million QR codes if I have to pay $0. So this is the point. You have that equipment in your home. If you have Wi-Fi, you have that invisible signal. You used to have rabbit ears, and you'd have, Dad would be standing by the window and moving the rabbit ears so you can get the Dodgers in it. To the left, Hal. To the left. You remember those days where some people would put a tin foil on the antenna, so it would create like a shield, so you wouldn't get the neighbor would run their blender and all of a sudden you'd be static on your Philco. Remember those days. So you have this piece of equipment in your house. I'm looking at Belinda Hill. I'm sure you have that. That equipment is a little computer. It's called the modem and a router.
It's not free, is it?
We're going to get to that in one moment. So,
okay,
how it works is your provider, Cox, Xfinity, Spectrum, the plethora of names we heard here, provides that. And if they provide that to you, if you look on your bill, you're likely paying rent for that, something minimal, $5, $3, but it's on there, right? It is on there somewhere.
Yes.
So it's somewhere on there.
It's $8.
So it's gone up. So yeah, I'm living in the past. So I rent it too.
I pay $5.
$5 is fair. I think I'm paying $5 to Spectrum.
I had to repurchase a modem.
Okay, so how it works?
$200.
What happens is you're not paying rent. So what happens is you can either rent that from your company, which means they give you that equipment and then they bill you every month, or you can go to Best Buy or Amazon and buy your own modem router. The difference is this. If you buy your own modem router, you can get a much stronger one than they provide from the provider. But that also means you're fully in charge of maintaining that, right? If you rent one and you have a problem, you can call your provider and they can say, hold on, let me ping it from my end. They'll say, let me check they can do things from their end. So if you're renting one, boss, that means you can call Spectrum and say, I'm having a problem. And they can fix it from there. They're responsible because they're renting it. It's a car rental. Your Hertz car breaks down, Hertz is responsible for fixing it. Your Honda breaks down, you're responsible for fixing it, right? That's the concept. It's a, 6 to 1, half dozen the other. I am a believer in renting it. For $50, $60 a year, I like to give that burden over to them.
Me too.
The reason I would use a different one is, let's say in an office, I might be opening an office and Israel's going to be there and a couple of other people will be working there, and I'll need a much stronger device. Then I would buy my own. And then you wouldn't pay rent. But then you just have to do the math that, like Ms. Moore has to, $300 divided by how many years that's working. That being said, if you're renting it and you've had that equipment a while, if it's dusty, that equipment changes. Voss has every right to call Spectrum and say, it's time to update my equipment. And they will give you no hassle, Voss.
I did that. I recently did that.
Very good. And the new equipment is better. It's newer. It has, you never turn off the modem router. I mean, that thing stays on 24/7. A lot of that stuff just stayed on for the whole darn pandemic, right? You never shuts off. And so that item is just burning bright. It's that one little light bulb that is never turned off, By the way, here's a little logic question. We're getting time. How can you test that the light bulb inside of your refrigerator is turning off when you close it? You know how you can test it? I'm not going to wait. It's a riddle. Is you can close the door, you can open it. If you open it and you touch the light bulb and it's still warm, that means it's on when the refrigerator is closed. Right? So if your refrigerator is closed for 30 minutes, an hour, and you open it up and you touch that light bulb and it's cool to the touch, that means it's been going off.
It will be hot.
Right. If it's staying on, if the switch isn't working and the light bulb is staying on inside the refrigerator, even when it's closed, then it's going to be warm. So
I was going to put the cell phone video in there.
You can put if it breaks through the thing. So, but that, you learn that when I did my master's in chemistry at Stanford. That was the first class. The teacher gave us that riddle, and nobody could sort of figure out how to do that. How to touch that. And so I've used that. So if you have that equipment in your house, no matter who you are, where you are, and it's been there for a while, call your provider and have them send you new equipment. Now, if they send you that equipment, sometimes it's complex. You have to unscrew the old stuff, put the new stuff in. Demand from Spectrum, Xfinity, Cox, that you want a tech to come over and install that for you. They owe you that. They will do that. You might have to wait a week or two, but you do not have, their first choice will be, yes, we're going to send you the new stuff and it's going to have instructions. I install a lot of that for people because they get it and they don't know that you can call your provider and they will do that for you with a little bit of, push. And I know everybody here is good at giving that little zets, on the side and saying, no. I pay you $80 a month, $60 a month. I've been paying it since ever. Please send a person here to install that properly. So I want you to know that. If you do have your own equipment, excuse me?
No $50 visit fee?
No, Spectrum, there's no charge. You just have to ask them and push. And I'm sure they're all the same. You just have to be a little aggressive and a self-advocate.
Well, Spectrum here is trying to get to customers, but I did a comparison. I was having a problem with my computer and I spoke with you because it was freezing up and whatever, slow. So I went through the tech specialist with this telephone company.
Yeah, we dealt with this last month. I remember that, Ms. Moore.
Right, with CenturyLink, they called themselves doing a test. They said it was dealing with my modem, that my modem needed to be replaced. So I purchased the modem. I talked them down out of 200 to 100 because I asked, well, where do I send my old modem? No, ma'am, you don't send that back in because you paid for that. You know what? My old modem has been working ever since Elijah. My modem has been working fine. The one that I purchased, it is so bulky. It is so big and huge. It's like a cone, C-O-N-E shape. And
now,
it's
Ms.
so
Moore,
big and bulky.
Don't get too comfortable in that, the old stuff works great. We need that security that comes with the new modem router.
But I do have security with CenturyLink. I do have security.
But I'm going to remain steadfast. It's important to update the modem and router.
But if you saw it, Elijah, you would say, oh, where did they come? It doesn't show the lights blinking on the front to let you know what's working and what's not working. So you don't know if it's
You're my hero. I'm going to stick with this. Update your modem and router. It needs to be updated.
Well, I have it. I didn't send it back. But if my old one is still doing better, I think that was their sales pitch. to get me to purchase the new modem.
No, Miss Moore, I'm going to stick with you need the new one. You know, my windows look like they were doing well, and we had these rains here, and I learned pretty fast they're not doing so well.
I'm going to send you a photo.
Please do. But I'm going to stick, and I want my tech class folks to do your diligence. Don't wait to the last minute. You've paid for this. You're probably paying $5 a month or more right now. If it's time and you're entitled to update your equipment in your home, update that equipment. Okay?
So she should not have paid $200, and she should have been paying $5 a month.
I think what Ms. Moore was explaining is in her company, she has to supply her own modem router.
Oh, I see.
So, but for those of us here that rent from your provider, you have that right. You're paying for it. It's in the background. It's like having your car and a warranty on it, and then you pay the mechanic independently. Sally, and then I see Voss and Charlene.
Elijah, a caveat for the people who get it free, and I'm one of those. If you don't take the old equipment back and return it and get a receipt, then within 20 or 30 days, they'll tell you how long you have to bring the old equipment back. They will bill you for it. And they not only will bill you for it, but I discovered that they bill you from the day they issue the new equipment. They bill you for the old equipment. And then when you bring it in, they credit all of what they billed you for those 10 days or whatever.
So let me jump in there, Sally. We're running out of time. So that's why it's good to have somebody come by and do that for you. They'll take that equipment and give you a receipt when they're at your site. Mm-hmm. So yes, and it's weird. Like you can return your Spectrum stuff to the UPS store. Like they have these weird satellites. But let's get to some questions. Voss?
Yeah, my question is a little different, Elijah. Sure. My question is for the cable box. Like we are paying rent. If I want to buy my own, what about the programming?
So this is different, and it's a completely different subject, and we can talk about it next time, Voss. The cable box is a digital interface.
Right.
You can only get that from the provider. You can't buy your own cable box. You can buy streaming TV. So in that case, and those things can sit under your TV for years, right? You would have to call your provider and say, hey, it's time for a new cable box. And they will send someone and do the same deal. You'll get a new remote with it as well. You can't go to Best Buy. You don't see cable boxes for sale at Best Buy. You can see Roku's and, Amazon Fire Sticks and Apple TVs and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
The cable box is a unique thing. Charlene?
Yes, I'm having a problem. I can't find my face on Zoom. I don't know where it went.
So right now we don't see you, we only see, where you just disappeared, Charlene. Where'd you go? You there, Charlene?
Video.
On the bottom of your Zoom screen, you can see stop video or start video.
At the bottom of my screen, stop video.
There should be. What are you using, a computer, Charlene?
I'm sorry?
What kind of device are you in the meeting with? A computer or a
Apple iPad?
So on the iPad, look, you can maybe tap it, and on the bottom, you'll see stop or start video. I'm going to see if I can ask you to start. I'm going to ask you to start video. I sent you a little code.
The host has asked you to start your video. Okay.
Yes, I asked you to start the video. And I now see your chin and your hand. So let's hold the iPad up a little more so we can see.
Oh no, I have a bad hair day.
Oh, okay.
You can see the lamp and all that.
I can see your back. I see a lovely background there, Charlene. So now you get it.
Yeah.
Now and Charlene, you could turn your video off if you want. I'll stop your video. I just stopped your video. So you're just back to Charlene T now. I got to say, listen, folks, we're of course running against the clock. We've all stayed the whole time. There's so many things. We have Tech Jeopardy and prizes, but I want to go to a special section. First of all, Israel,
yes,
let's call me sir. Look at that. First
Can I
of
ask
all,
you a quick question,
you can ask
Elijah?
me any question, please.
Okay, a quick one is like, how often do you normally need to replace or update the modem or the router for, let's say, from Spectrum?
Who's chatting with you right now? I don't see the name. I like to want to address
Ellen.
Ellen, it's a great question. So Ellen, I have a rule of thumb that every 3 years, because if I'm renting it, I take advantage of it. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. Like if it's there, I don't let the coupon expire. I take advantage of the stuff that's coming my way. I enjoy that,
I agree.
if I'm owed that, believe me, and they count on people just not asking them and waiting to the last minute. That's how most industry counts on. So 3 years is a long time to keep something plugged in all day, all night, with the power burning through it, and you're entitled to it, you're paying for it. Then ask for a new one. They could say, no, it's working. They say, no, it's been 3 years. Please, I want one. I just want one. The person on the other end doesn't care. They'll set it up for you.
Oh, okay.
So, it's one of those things you have control over. Why not?
Elijah, how do you know how old it is? We have to check with them, right? When did they have?
If you're not sure, like if you have one, obviously you can put a little note on it, a little sticker, a little post-it. But if you're not sure, on your bill, you'll see the rental agreement. It's a separate section on your bill. It's not lumped in. You'll see you have the ESPN package, and then you have the Wi-Fi 36 megabyte package, and then you have universal surcharge, California, this charge, that charge, that charge. One of them will be equipment rental.
Oh,
and there's a replacement.
If they don't give you that number, then you can call them, Uma, and say, when did I get this equipment? And they have all that on file.
And they have a replacement receipt. There is a date on that also, if you can keep a note of that.
But that's good. That's easy to forget that stuff because it's not the highlight of our day. So get a little Post-it, stick it underneath, underneath that equipment, and keep an eye on that.
Thank you.
Elijah,
Elijah,
if I may add, this is not the first time I've had to purchase a modem.
No.
Because I've had, I've been here a little over 7 years. And when I purchased a modem, the one that I have now, I purchased another modem, and I did have a tech rep come out, and he told me that new purchase, sent it right back to the company so they can take it off my account because there was nothing wrong with my modem.
So there could be nothing wrong with your modem, but the technology has changed. You had a phone that was 3G, and then it was 4G, and then it was 5G. Now it's IPv6. So the technology inside of those devices changed. Even you could have, there's nothing cooler than like a 1968 convertible Barracuda, right? Chevy, wow. But it doesn't have a seat heater. You know what I mean? It doesn't have it's a great car, but the technology has changed inside of that device. And that's the mysterious part of it, Ms. Moore. We got to get to a couple more things, and we got to, Crystal, although Crystal wants to hang with us all night and day, she's got to go. So I want to talk about, we have a lot of subjects. Please, anything you want to talk about next month, put it in the chat, contact me in between. I know Jeanette wanted to learn more about Outlook and Mac Mail and things like that. We want to talk about that, Google Photos. But so get those suggestions out, and obviously individual things, you contact us. It takes us no time. We honor that. There's not charging lasers for every phone call. So it's really, we appreciate it because by getting information from you, we can then help also customers that you don't know. We can only learn so much. I can only BS so much that I know everything. But when I really do learn from you all, then I'm really coming across things about Ms. Moore's provider, CenturyLink, and the Midwest, and I'm learning those things. But here's something important. Who this month, and this is, we're not asking you information, but who's had a telemedicine visit? We just want to learn the flow. Who just said yes?
You want me to?
Who saw the doctor on video on the computer this month?
I did.
How did it go? Just, we don't want to know the details, but how did they send you a link? How did that work?
Actually, this is my first experience, and I didn't want to go see the doctor. And I told him, I'm sending you the picture of my problem, and I would like to have the e-visit. So I signed up for e-visit, and then they sent me the email, and then they told me I can go into my kp.org account, and from there I connected, and on right time, I had appointment 2 o'clock, and indeed I was already signed up, and they said, wait for doctor to come. And he came on the screen and we talked, and
You did
it was
your
pretty
appointment.
good. Yeah, so I was very happy, and then whatever suggestion he did, and that's what I have followed.
And you had a
my
virtual
problem
appointment.
is cured.
Well, God bless, first of all. And so you got an email, and that email started you in the clicking. So you in the email, you went into, you said KP, so that's kaiserpermanente.org.
Yeah.
Kaiser. So, and then you went into Kaiser after you
Yeah.
clicked that, and the appointment was sort of laying in front of you. It was just a few
yeah.
steps, glitch free.
Oh yeah, it
Right.
is so easy. And that was
Right.
my first experience. And I say, I want to try that instead of I go to the doctor's
Anyone
office.
else? Anyone else have a telemedicine story?
Yes, I did.
Please,
I
Rhonda. And
have
of course,
one
no
last
details
week.
about what happened, but how did the flow go to the actual meeting?
Well, they sent me a questionnaire to fill out to ask me what was wrong. So I had to check off certain things and
Sure.
then type in what the problem was and all that, and then just submit that. And then I sent pictures as well. And then they called me and we discussed it.
So was it so you sent those and then you had a telephone call?
Yes.
It wasn't a video meeting like Uma had.
No, I didn't have a video meeting. I just had the telephone call.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right, folks. Well, the reason we mention this because it's the future. It's and the future is here. All right, who's ready for some tech Jeopardy? I got some hot questions today. All right, Israel.
Elijah,
Yeah.
I just
Charlene?
had that one question. Did you buy that washer and dryer?
So I did buy that washer and dryer. And my consideration in buying, which was like buying a computer, by the way, it was not just like buying a washer and dryer. It was, you can literally get a notification on your phone when the wash cycle is completed. And what I learned about buying that washer and dryer, the one thing that I thought in my own head and I did follow is many of them were flat. So there's no knobs to turn. You don't have the knob to the different cycles or, all those knobs. A lot of them, you touch them and then a light shows up. I still didn't trust that. I still wanted, I like the technology, that studies, uses electricity better, tells you things, but I didn't want it where it was a flat panel and you had to wait for a light to come on and, you touch the information that shows up behind a panel in different lighting and color. I still have some knobs on there. They were sort of big. They fit in the closet. It was an LG brand, and it cost upward of $2,000 for a stackable washer and dryer.
Is it an agitator inside? Is it
The agitator is inside, all of those items, but it's stackable. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not the flat ones, it's they're one on top because they fit in a certain closet.
So you bought the Cadillac brand and not the stick shift brand.
Exactly. I bought exactly. Although I would love to drive a Cobra stick shift someday.
That analogy.
Great question. But it really was like buying a computer. It was totally buying a computer. It was weird. I even had to change the gas line in the back so it had like a digital meter on it. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Thank you for remembering. We're going to talk. I've been studying electric cars, not that I have one. We'll talk about that too. All right, folks, here we go. Here are our questions. Israel, keep track of these, please.
Okay.
And let me go here and let me make sure. Well, let me stop my sharing so I don't give the answers away beforehand. And where are my tech questions? All right. So, now it's time to share my screen. Here we go. Oh, wrong screen. Hold on. Here we go. Share screen. Desktop 1. Now let me go here. And here are my tech questions. Okay. It's been raining a lot in California. Who's been experiencing this rain? It's going to rain again Friday, they say, another atmospheric river. And then we've been, when we started this year, we didn't know when we were going to get any more water, but now we're getting a lot of it. So the question is, what year was the windshield washer added to a car? And put your answers in the chat. Take your guess. What year was the windshield washer? Believe it, when they first came out, there was no windshield washer. It was added. And we're going to give a few moments over there.
Elijah.
Yeah.
Every time you do this, then it keeps me from typing my answer. I don't know what you do, but I can't type anything.
We're blocking you because you're too smart, Rhonda. What's your answer? Say it out loud. I don't know what it's, but you can say your answer. We'll get it down. We'll jot it down. You can say it out loud. And we're going once.
1930, I don't know. 1930.
Okay, Ron.
In the chat.
And we're going twice.
I can't type.
It's okay. We'll fix that, Rhonda, and you can contact me between meetings. And bidding is closed. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. I'm looking through the answers.
I have 1920.
I'm looking right here. Hold on.
You keep breaking.
We have.
I'm not hearing anything.
No answers. The year is 1948, and it was made a legal requirement in 1950, but the first one was added under DeSoto.
Is it my computer or the internet causing you to break up?
No,
the internet.
We hear you, Jeanette.
Yeah.
I see a couple of 1946, and I put 1940s.
It was
Well,
48.
Voss is close.
Voss was close, but we finally stumped Voss.
I have 1946.
Yeah, it's 1948. Wow, I got everyone. This is the first time in 2 years.
Wow,
I put 1940s.
All right, here's our next.
So what is the correct year, Elijah?
1948. And just for fun, Voss, the Department of Transportation made it a legal requirement in 1950.
So I got it right with 1950?
No, 1948 was the answer.
Mary.
Okay, but we have two more questions. We have two more questions. All right. Here's a good one. Let me share my screen. Give me one moment. I don't want to give the answer. This is going to be another stumper. Hold on one moment, folks. And let me get this out there, share my screen. And what is the instrument that measures humidity?
Oh.
It's a physical instrument. It's, we're not talking about barometric pressure, which you always the barometer says. So it's not a barometer. I'll give you that much. What is the instrument that measures humidity? Now, we know this, like if you've ever had a flood or heaven forbid a fire in your house and the firemen, and they bring these companies in with these big machines that draw the humidity out, or you had a dehumidifier, there was a little, there was an instrument attached that said the humidity in the room is 12%, 30%, 60%, so on and so forth.
Elijah is giving people time to Google it.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping not. Okay. Oh, wow. We got a lot of winners.
Getting it.
Based on the screen,
based on
the screen, Crystal, you can't Google it. Based
we're
on
going once, we're going twice. The bidding
you
is
can Google
closed.
it on your phone.
We have a lot of winners over here.
A hydrometer.
A hydrometer. Okay, Israel, write down. They're breaking the bank today. Write down all these people, Israel, that have all won the hydrometer.
Wow.
It's a hydrometer. All right. That's okay. We got you. We got you on the first one, but the second one we got kicked. So we're going to work on that. Now let's go to our third and final question of the day. Okay. Let me take a look at what it is. Okay. Okay. Are we ready for this? Now we're going to leave behind the weather, and we're going to do an LA-based question because at one point we're all here because we have a connection to LA. When did the LAPD get handheld radios? Not 1 Adam 12 calling 1 Adam 12 Rampart. This is 1 Adam, not the one in the car that Jack Webb and Harry Morgan used. When did they actually walk around and on that belt, now that big belt they have, stick a big radio? What year? Get your answers in. And if you know it, I'm afraid you were arrested and then you're not going to get an answer. But going once, what year did LAPD supply physical radios for the officers to drive around with, or anybody, I imagine? Miss Moore, you were part of the LAPD, right? So I want you to give this a good shot. And bidding is going once, bidding is going twice, and bidding is closed. And the answer is 1996. The department began to play.
What? 1996.
Really late. It was really late. I was really shocked. Charlene.
Gloria got it. Gloria Oviles.